Welcome to the Whyalla Public Library.
But we're at your house.
What a great idea, Chris. You can't come here to the library, so we'll come to you.
Yeah, and Ali is going to read your story.
Alrighty, get comfy. Let's do it. Today's story is called Kookoo Kookaburra. It's written and illustrated by Greg Dryce. And it's published by Magabala Books Aboriginal Corporation in Broome. Let's go. Way back before Once Upon a Time, there was the Dream Time, and during this period there lived a kookaburra called Kookoo. Kookoo was a kind and happy fellow who loved to tell stories. He would sit in his favourite gum tree and wait for one of the animals to do something silly. And when they did, Kookoo would laugh and think of a good story to tell about what they had done. The bush creatures loved to gather for a song or a dance, but they enjoyed listening to Kookoo's stories the most. He had a special way of turning someone's silliness into a funny story without being unkind. Oh, that's nice. Sometimes Kookoo searched for food to eat, but most of the time he was just on the lookout for his next big story. Oh, he's found a worm. That's cool. One day, Kookoo could not find any of the bush creatures doing something silly, so he decided to make fun of their differences instead. Sadly, the kookaburra's teasing made the hearts of his friends sink lower than the belly of Mr. Nuri, the black snake. Before long, there were many sad creatures. Billy, the red-winged parrot, reminded Kookoo that everyone liked him because he could tell a funny story in a kind way. His elder, Uncle Googoo, told him that kindness is like a boomerang. If you throw it often, it comes back often. But Kookoo did not listen. He thought his stories were just as funny when he teased his friends. Oh dear, it isn't nice to tease your friends. In his quest for laughter, Kookoo hurt the feelings of the bush animals and they stopped listening to him. The creatures who had once gathered like twinkling stars now looked as if the clouds had dragged their sorrows over the sky. Kookoo's stories were no longer funny, but he still believed that he was the best storyteller in the bush. Uncle Googoo decided to teach Kookoo the wise words that had been taught to him when he was young. You have 2 eyes, you have 2 ears, you only have 1 mouth. Look and listen twice as much as you speak. When Kookoo flew off without taking the time to think about what he had been taught, Uncle Googoo and Belay were sad. Kookoo had become a show-off and had forgotten the difference between laughing with people and laughing at people. His friends hoped that one day his kindness would return like a boomerang. Kookoo flew from tree to tree trying to gather an audience, but everyone ignored him and he became very lonely. One day he listened to his own laughter echoing around the bush, and it was not a happy sound. Kookoo stopped laughing, and then he heard the voice of Googoo. His uncle's wise words were floating on the breeze, and they were much louder than his own unhappy laughter had been. Everywhere Kookoo flew, he could now hear the voice of Uncle Googoo saying, "Kindness is like a boomerang. If you throw it often, it comes back often." At last, Kookoo knew what he had to do. From that day on, his laughter and funny stories once again filled the bush, and because Kookoo was always kind, the other creatures returned his kindness by listening. Kookoo's laughter is still heard today. Kookoo Kookaburra. And that's the end of the story. Well, thanks for listening to the story. Shall we make a craft, Chris?
Yeah, we should. That was a good story about the dream time and some great lessons to be learnt in there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So thanks for reading it, Ali.
No worries.
Hi everyone!
Hi guys.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the story.
Yeah, it was lovely.
It was a great story. Now you might want to attract some birds into your garden, and we've got a couple of different ways that you can do that.
Having birds in your garden is really an awesome thing because we do need birds to keep everything rolling along, don't we? So this is just a really great activity.
It really helps with the environment.
Absolutely.
So for this one, you'll need some birdseed for both activities. So the activity I'm going to make is birdseed hangers. So they're not for you to eat, even though they do look like Anzac biscuits. So you have that hanger there, and you put it on some string or twine and tie it to something in your back garden or your front garden, wherever you'd like the birds to come.
Great.
So it's basically making a recipe, except you don't get to eat the food, the birds do.
Nice.
So what we need is some birdseed.
And this is for wild bird.
This is for
seed
what?
mix one.
Yep.
This one.
So dump that in.
How much was that?
That was 1 cup.
Right.
And then you need 2 tablespoons of flour. We should try that first. So again, just you should have a bit of flour at home. It can be plain flour or self-raising.
Don't think the birds will mind that?
No, even corn flour. No, I don't know about gluten-free flour, but don't know. Okay, and we need some water. So you need 4 tablespoons of water, which I've already measured out because the tap's over there and I'm over here. And 1.5 teaspoons of golden syrup. So you might be able to make something else with this later with a grown-up. You should have a grown-up helping you when you do this. That's 1. Shake it in, shake, 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 shake. And a bit more. Ooh, that might be a little bit more than 1.5. I'm sure the birds won't mind too much. I don't recommend you lick your fingers, especially if they touch the birdseed.
So that's more or less like the glue, isn't it?
It is, that's what's making it stick together.
Cool.
And then you get a spoon and you mix it around until it makes a glue. Oh, you can have fun with this. You can put your music on while you're doing it. Do it with a friend and have a chat while you're doing it.
If it's a bit too runny, just chuck in a bit more birdseed, a bit more flour.
Yep.
It'll be fine.
So, it's getting there. Now this does take a couple of days to finish, so when you've, we might have a little bit more flour. We might get Ali to do that because I'm a bit mucky now. Just to help it glue together, because the water and flour make a cheap glue. So if you ever run out of glue at home, with Mum's permission, you can make flour water glue. So there we go, and then you get a baking tray with paper on it. And tip it out. So this is fun too. You will need to wash your hands when you're done, but it's always fun getting a little bit mucky. Try not to put the bowl right there. Squish, 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 about 2 centimetres thick. Now I'm measurement challenged. Ali, is that about 2 centimetres?
Yep, good.
Give it a
so you could make a couple, or you could make a big one.
Yep. I've got some cutters. I've got a love heart because I love birds. And press it in like that. And I've got a star because Ali's the star today. Like that. Then you sort of separate it out like that so it's not all glooby. Now you might just want to make a ball or a square or whatever shape you like, just an odd shape. And then you get a pencil or a straw or the spoon that you had and make a little hole in there carefully, because that's where you're going to put your ribbon or your string later, and another hole in there.
Great. So how long did you say this would take to dry?
So what you do is after you've taken the shapes off, you leave it on the parchment for overnight.
Oh, okay.
So you leave it, and then the next day you flip it over carefully and leave it for another day. So that's
Okay.
2 whole days.
Right, right.
So if you're getting a bit impatient, I'm going to put a hole in that one. If you're getting a bit impatient, you might want to make what Ali's making, or you can do both. So while this one's drying, you can use some leftover birdseed to make a milk bottle feeder. Or a milk carton feeder.
Absolutely.
Or
They
a
look
soft drink
great.
bottle feeder.
They look great.
So I'm going to let Ali start. I'm going to go wash my hands.
Good stuff. So we're going to make milk bottle feeders, or plastic bottle feeders, whatever you like to call them. This is one design that you could choose to make. It's just a drink bottle, which is one, or you might have a milk carton over here that's, you know, a spare one that you're not going to chuck in your recycling bin. I'm going to use a bigger bottle, the 3 litre milk bottle. So I've already cut the holes out the side of the milk carton. So the bird is going to be able to come inside our bird feeder and have some bird seed. So the last thing we do is tip some bird seed into the milk carton. You can decorate your milk carton however you like. So textures or gluing, or, you know, whatever makes you happy. You could put some sparkly things on. We know how much birds love sparkly things. But yeah, pretty it up because you're going to hang it outside in the garden. So yeah, whatever you reckon. Now I cut out the hole out the side with some scissors. You'll need adult supervision, of course, if you're going to do some cutting, because it is a tricky thing to do, and the milk carton, it does get a bit soft and wobbly, so make sure you've got some help. You could ask a grown-up if they could cut it out with a Stanley knife perhaps, but yeah, we've just got a hole so the bird can go in from either side. We've decorated. We're going to put some string. So I've cut a little hole at the top on both sides, and we're going to thread some string through so that we can hang it, thank you Chris, so that we can hang it in the tree, or from the veranda, or from, you know, wherever you've got outside.
Yep, your pergola.
Oh, the pergola's a good idea, because yeah, then you'll be able to get to see the birds close up. Sorry, let's turn around this way a bit. That's all right. Thank you. Now I went to the park yesterday, and our park has some awesome trees. So I grabbed a few sticks actually. So choose a nice long stick, and then I've put some holes in the bottom of the milk container as well, so that when the bird comes to have a visit, he can sit on the stick. So we just push it through one side, through to the cool. There we go.
Well, that looks really cool.
It's getting there, hey? So
What happens if you can't get a stick?
oh well, yes, we could use, yours, it's got a pencil. So if you've got a spare pencil at home that you can use, that's one option. I've also got a piece of dowel that we had in the shed, so that's another option. Sticks are probably the easiest thing, because you can just go to the park and pick up a stick.
The birds probably feel more comfortable with that, because that's more natural.
Absolutely. So just tie a bit of a knot in the stick, in the string. So that's how you can hang it upside down. Upside. Alrighty, so we've decorated, we've cut holes in it, we've got a stick, a perch in it, a hanger. Final thing is to put some bird seed in. Do you want to tip some in for me, Chris, please? Cool. This is great to be able to use. Whoops!
Awesome. Careful it doesn't come through the other side.
So there you go. How cute is that? Using recycled materials, things that you would have at home, to make a gorgeous little bird feeder that, you know, everybody can enjoy outside. Hope you enjoy it.
It's great to get some fresh air.
Absolutely. I'm sure the birds will love you.
So don't forget to take a photo of you making your bird feeder.
Or the finished product.
Or the finished product.
Yep.
Or your bird hangers.
Yes, yes.
And what if you you could take photos of the birds eating out of your bird feeder. That would be fantastic.
If you're good enough to do that, you get extra points.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would love to see your photos. So send them to the Whyalla City Council Facebook page and we'll check them out.
Or email them to the Whyalla
email address.
We just looked that up.
Oh, it's down here on the bottom of the screen. See that?
I can see it.
Yeah. All right, have an awesome day, guys. See ya.